Hi everyone, Paul Levy with Brownells here. I'm joined by Dean Sylvester with Primary Weapon Systems.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks for joining us, Dean. And today we're giving an overview of the new Brownells Wrenchman Handguard series. Right here I have the Wrenchman Plus and the Wrenchman Standard Handguard. We'll go through a few features on these, what makes them unique, and we'll also get into how to install these. So for unique features, a lot of it is centered at the barrel nut. So Dean, do you want to maybe go through what makes this particularly unique versus other handguards that might clamp on, or what's out there?
One of the main things, primary features of this that makes it unique is, as you can see, the different ridges. One allows the gas tube to come through, so you have a little larger diameter, but mainly are the two that end up on the sides. If you can see at the end, there's small edges or lips that come down that are in the extrusion. So when you put the barrel nut in, those lips actually interact and those ridges come across here. So when you clamp at the bottom, you don't have a chance of the handguard spreading at the top, coming around, and you're actually deforming the shape of this top wall and bringing it around, and with the possibility of heating up on the thermal expansion of aluminum, of it heating up and coming loose on you, because these ridges actually bite in here and you're getting a true clamping force like a hose clamp on a full round, and you're able to just get a lot more rigid mount between the barrel nut and the handguard. The other thing too is, being an extruded feature, there's not milling inside, so we're able to do the shorter barrel nut. We're also able to do longer, and since this isn't a machine feature, we can make this as long as we want and give you max rigidity all the way down and with that full clamping force.
So with this handguard, you get clamping force, which ensures even clamping force, so your handguard's not going to shift during use, but also, like on the Plus model, which is really intended to be a precision rail, when you have that mounted, you get a much more rigid rail. So if this was, say, shorter, you maybe could have the potential for flex, but with a longer steel barrel nut, you really get a much tighter lockup for the handguard itself and prevent any twisting or flex really with the rail. So that's the barrel nut itself. And we should mention this is steel versus an aluminum. What are the benefits there with having a steel barrel nut?
So the steel barrel nut falls in line with the original intention of the M16, is the fact that you have a steel barrel extension, you have an aluminum upper receiver, and then you have a steel barrel nut going over the top, which actually sandwiches the aluminum in between the two steel. Well, with the thermal extension of aluminum being so much greater than steel, what you end up with is that as the gun heats, you end up with the aluminum expanding in between two steel layers, and so it actually the barrel gets tighter as the rifle gets hotter. A lot of people don't realize that. They're going to aluminum barrel nuts for lighter weight, and most of them function very well for normal use, but if you have the chance to do a steel nut, then you end up with a chance of it just tightening up that barrel under heavy use, and you don't have any accuracy issues as the gun gets hotter. So that's one of the key features of that.
And obviously a big noticeable feature is you have wrench flats on here, and hence the name, the Wrenchman Handguard. You can use any standard crescent wrench at home, and we'll go through the installation process here in a sec, but you don't need an AR specific wrench or tool or something proprietary for this specific handguard to get this mounted. It's really with what you have, you can make it work.
Yeah, as long as you can get the upper receiver safely held solid, you know, pretty much any wrench, crescent wrench that'll go into the inch and I think 3/16 size range, or if you have the right tool, you know, you can use that too, but you know, you're capable of putting it on with pretty much what you have.
Now, when you get the barrel nut installed and you slide the handguard over, then the handguard's retained via 3 bolts on the Plus model, and then you have 2 on the Standard model. You save a little bit weight with the Standard model. The Plus gives you a more rigid setup for that long range use or precision firing. So the bolts cross through these cuts right here to prevent any potential slippage forward, although there's a ton of clamping force.
Yeah, I don't think you see it, but it's a good thing to have. The other thing too on this, if you don't mind giving up you know, a few extra ounces, is we have a mount for the bottom that will mount onto a tripod, where some of the precision shooters are mounting on a tripod and trying to get to the center of the axis of the rifle. Being able to screw in an aluminum mount onto that gives you that ability to get close to that center of gravity.
So you can mount your tripod right there, right up against the upper receiver. And then we have tried, say, the 419 Arca Swiss mount, and it fits perfectly. It's almost flush with the bottom rail itself. So you could have Arca Swiss all the way in the bottom and then have an Arca Swiss mount right there, very close to the center of gravity. Now we should probably explain the different lengths involved here. They're of course M-LOK. You basically have to have M-LOK nowadays with the amount of accessories and the standardization it's brought. But with the standard line of the Wrenchmans, we have a 10-inch, 12, and then it goes all the way up to a 15-inch right here. And you can distinguish these with the cuts. This is the standard with these kind of cosmetic flourishes right
I said
there.
in the top here, this is a non-M-LOK mounting system. It's bigger. It's meant to remove a little more weight, take away that interior ridge. And on the precision, we've gone in with an undercutter and made it to where these are actually usable M-LOK feature, but we've come in and removed the material on the backside to give you the flat that you
So
need.
the Plus is a bit beefier and it's only available in 12 and then 15. And then like Dean said, you've got M-LOK essentially all the way around.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And then it's matte blacked anodized aluminum. For a finish, of course, you got the Picatinny all the way across the top. Now, the really nice thing, everybody's got a Picatinny on top, but unique setup with this handguard is getting that aligned with your upper receiver. And we'll go through this on the setup process, but each handguard comes with this alignment tool. So when you're aligning your barrel nut, you simply insert this over the barrel nut, and as you torque it on, this will align with your upper receiver, ensuring a very precise alignment. You take this off, you go to install your handguard, and you can guarantee that this is going to match your upper receiver. Really the only handguard out there that does that.
Yes, it is very unique to that. And a lot of times once you put on the barrel nut, when you go to put on a standard handguard, you're still feeling both sides, you're trying to line them up. With this, as long as the alignment device slips over the outside of the Picatinny, you know when the handguard slips on that you're top dead center and you're aligned to where you need to be.
So that's the Wrenchman series, so let's go ahead and get these installed. So where do we start at here? Obviously we've got a stripped up receiver in your barrel, so you got to get there either from raw parts or you got to get your existing AR stripped to this point.
Right. So we've got the barrel inserted into the upper receiver. This barrel is very tight into the upper receiver. It's a very precise fit. So what we're going to do with this is we will use the barrel nut to start with to pull that in so that the barrel shoulder is tight with the receiver shoulder.
Now we should say too, we're using a DeGuano rod here for putting the upper receiver in the vise. You could use a Magpul bev block or anything else that's out there.
Yeah, anything that's holding it steady and safe, you make sure you're not shooting up your upper receiver.
Yep.
So you can kind of feel that we've come to a stop there, just really light, but I can feel that the barrel is now against the shoulder of the upper receiver. So now you bring it in to hand tight. So we can see that our notch here, I'll swing it around. You can see that the alignment notch you're going to want that the gas tube is going to pass through is slightly to the side of the actual top dead center. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on the alignment device from here, and we're going to get it over the area that we want that to be. So basically the ridge are on both sides, and the notch that I want to be top dead center
Basically that
is in
next
the
notch
center
over, you have it centered over.
With the tool, you can see that we're still misaligned. We're putting a little bit of pressure on at a time, and we keep working forward to see where we go, because we just want it to go over to the point that that tool will slip onto the Picatinny rail. So you just tighten it down a little bit. You can kind of see the flat on the top starts to align. Then we go ahead and we push that together. Now you know that the alignment of your side ridges align with the Picatinny rail.
So this tool is engaging the upper receiver now, and it's engaging the barrel nut, so you know it's
Right,
perfectly straight
right,
line.
exactly. Now that we know that we have the alignment tool, we'll slip on and off the rail easily. Now we know we have alignment between the barrel nut and the receiver. So now we're ready to install the handguard.
Okay.
And it's a little bit of a tension fit, but not bad. So we can see and feel that we have exact alignment. The next step is to put in the mounting screws. And then we use square bolts on the other side, and there's a square cutaway over here that keeps the bolts timed and keeps them from moving.
There's your wrench there.
Okay.
So you're threaded into a steel washer.
Yeah, you're going into a steel nut through. And so we'll mount both of those. And then you just you can feel, even with the lightest amount of tension on those screws, that it's already pretty rigid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy given the fact that you're doing just a few inch pounds, and now we go ahead and do the full tensioning. I mean, you can see how much more movement you're getting out of those mounting screws and how tight it was before just with a small amount.
So there's already a snug fit on with the handguard over the barrel nut. You're clamping it now, and it's got the clamping force at the top, so you've got a ton of contact on that barrel nut.
And the main thing it shows is just how little force it takes to get pretty much complete contact all the way around. Now you can feel the rigidity of there, which is...
That's not moving in there.
Yeah.
Take that off. So there you go. So that's the Wrenchman standard handguard. That's the 15-inch right there on a 16-inch barrel. You can get a feel for how that looks. That's a pretty quick and easy installation.
Yeah.
No special tools, and it's on there. Pretty darn good. Well, thank you, Dean. I appreciate you running through that with us.
No problem at all.
Yeah. So that's the new Brownells Wrenchman handguard designed by PWS. These are available now on brownells.com. Check them out.